Arsenal icon Ray Parlour is backing the Gunners to bounce back against Liverpool on Sunday following their 2-0 loss to Bournemouth in the Premier League. Informed Liverpool arrive at the Emirates Stadium top of the table, while third-placed Arsenal will be forced into a number of changes. William Saliba is suspended following his red card against Bournemouth, and Ricardo Calafiori, Jurrien Timber and Bukayo Saka are all major doubts. Martin Odegaard is still missing with an ankle injury as well, but Parlour, who won 3 Premier League titles with the Gunners, still thinks his former club has enough quality to get a positive result. It's obviously a big game. Liverpool always is, said Parlour, who made 466 appearances for Arsenal between 1991 and 2004. Arsenal need to bounce back after the Bournemouth loss. Liverpool are going along pretty nicely at the moment, but they haven't played anyone massive, aside from Chelsea. Without meaning any disrespect to the other sides they have beaten so far, Liverpool would probably take a point away from home and then try and beat Arsenal at Anfield. That would put them in a good position. But for me, it's really all about Arsenal on Sunday. How do they bounce back from defeat? I have been in many teams when we have had a bit of a nightmare result, and it's all about the character you show in the next game. You can't change what happened against Bournemouth. But if Arsenal get 3 points against Liverpool, then everyone forgets about that defeat. It's a big game, and I expect Arsenal to respond. If Liverpool win, they'll move 7 points clear of Arsenal. You don't want to be giving away big gaps like that, even this early in the season, but if it does happen, it certainly doesn't mean Arsenal can't still win the league. We were 12 points behind at one point in 1997-98 and no one gave us much of chance. We had to go to Old Trafford and beat Manchester United, and we did 1-0. Then we went on a 10-game winning streak and ended up securing the league with 3 games to spare. So I don't think Arsenal will panic whatever happens on Sunday. But from Liverpool's point of view, if they can win, it will only strengthen their belief they are title contenders. Gunners need to avoid further dismissals. 3 red cards have cost North Londoners points this season. Declan Rice. Arsenal will know the importance of keeping cool heads on Sunday. They have had 3 players sent off in their opening 8 fixtures in the Premier League this season, and, since boss Mikel Arteta joined in 2019, a Premier League high 18 Gunners players have been dismissed, 5 more than any other team. In each game Arsenal have been a player down since the campaign got underway. They have dropped points, the 1-1 home draw with Brighton Hove Albion, the 2-2 away draw at Manchester City and the 2-0 loss at Bournemouth last weekend. We can't continue to play with 10 men, especially at this level, said Arteta. You see how we struggled. We need to eradicate it, it's clear. The reason why the players got sent off doesn't matter. We just have to stop it happening. We were like that and still won titles, added Parlour. We had spells when we got too many sent off and had to deal with it. But I do think William Saliba's red against Bournemouth could have gone either way. Even if Evanilson wasn't fouled. He still had a lot to do from the halfway line. I thought the sending off was a bit harsh, however, kicking the ball away, like Declan Rice did against Brighton, there's just no excuse for that. You have to be disciplined in football. Mikel Arteta knows that. Odegaard's game has shades of Bergkamp. Parlour likens title chasers captain to former teammate, Arsenal midfielder Martin Odegaard and Wolverhampton Wanderers defender Yerson Mosquera battling for possession. Parlour knows how important Odegaard's return will be in the coming weeks. The midfielder has been missing since suffering an ankle injury playing for Norway in September and is close to a return. Arsenal won't rush their captain back despite Norway manager Ståle Solbakken hinting he will be available again for the November international break. Sources tell Givesport Odegaard will be fit before mid-November and the club's preference is for him to miss the Nations League games with Slovenia and Kazakhstan in order to manage his workload and protect him ahead of the festive period. Arsenal have really missed Odegaard, said Parlour. I played with Dennis Bergkamp and I would put Martin in that bracket. His vision, weight of pass and ability to get out of tight situations reminds me of Bergkamp. Arsenal don't really have an Odegaard backup, even though Rice can play in that role. It's horrible when you lose such a key player, Arteta set to sign fresh striker option in 2025, Parlour backing Capital Club to bring in additional firepower. Odegaard also got 11 goals in all competitions last season, with only Kai Havertz, 14, Leandro Trossard, 17, and Bukayo Saka, 20, scoring more. After finding the back of the net an impressive 91 times during the 2023/24 campaign. Arsenal didn't bring in a new number 9 this summer despite an obvious squad gap for one and links with several names. The Gunners did try for RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko in the early part of the window, though, and Parlour still expects a new striker to arrive in 2025. It's always going to be what people bring up, said Parlour, who scored 32 goals for Arsenal in all competitions. If Arsenal had Erling Haaland in their side they would probably win the league. That's how important number 9s are. I'm sure Mikel Arteta and Edu are scouring the world to try and find the right profile. Havertz hasn't done a bad job to be fair. He's fitted in pretty comfortably up there. I always played with good strikers. My team had Nwankwo Kanu, Sylvain Wiltord, Bergkamp, who was a number 10 but could still play centre forward, and Thierry Henry. Then you look further back to someone like Ian Wright. Arsenal have always had top-class strikers. That is the position they will be looking at strengthening. Maybe some right-sided cover or competition for Bukayo Saka is needed. I know Michael Olise went to Bayern Munich, but he's the sort of player that excites. Arsenal fans would have been delighted with someone like Olise. That's the kind of caliber of player you're looking for. And maybe there is some regret they don't have that extra depth. Saka is obviously going to play when fit and is also in that profile and equally exciting. The point is, Arsenal just need to be in the hunt with 7 or 8 games to go and depth is key to that. It's a long and hard season ahead, and it will be a roller coaster ride. Every single game is so important in the Premier League, especially if you are going to win the title. It was a blip at Bournemouth and now Arsenal must respond against Liverpool. Tuchel appointed in hurry due to uncertainty. England's new boss was linked with taking over at Manchester United. Thomas Tuchel. Mark Bullingham. Parlour also got 10 England caps between 1999 and 2000, and surely would have won significantly more had he not faced competition from David Beckham and later Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. The 51-year-old, who is affectionately called the Romford Pele, is interested to see how Thomas Tuchel fares, having recently signed an 18-month contract, starting on January 1st, to lead the Three Lions. Several high-profile names, including Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, have said they prefer that the England coach is English, but Parlour disagrees and believes the FA were in a hurry to lock in the former Chelsea Champions League winner before it was too late. In an ideal world, you want an English coach, but if there's not one out there to do the job then you can't just not hire a top foreign one like Tuchel because of his nationality, said Parlour. And in 2 years' time, if we get to the World Cup final, no one will worry about him coming from Germany. I can understand the backlash and some people saying give it to an Englishman, but who would it be? Eddie Howe. He was never even approached. I actually think the FA moved because they were looking at the Manchester United situation with Erik ten Hag. If they didn't act quickly, then perhaps United would have gone for Tuchel. I really have got no problem with Tuchel as long as he delivers. He's only got 18 months, so has a lot to prove in a short space of time, but if he can get the best out of this England squad, which is very talented, they should definitely be competing against the best nations in the world.